Hello, welcome everyone. I am alone today, but hopefully that's all right. I'm just going to make sure that my stream's going out. If you can hear me, can you just make a comment in the chat? Hopefully you can. Hopefully I'm not too loud. My mute. If I'm too loud, I'll adjust things, but I think I'm okay. How are all of you this morning? It is a rainy day in southern Alberta. So Dominic, can you hear me okay? All right. Excellent. So hopefully everyone's having a wonderful weekend. Like I said, David's away. He's on a secret tuna mission. They apparently left some groceries in their trailer and it's being stored and they wanted to rescue them. So, all right. So I have a few different topics today. But like I said in chat earlier, if you guys have anything in particular you'd like to chat about and whatnot, we can. I've got some news and whatnot, but first, I want to thank a few people. I want to thank these people here, Helge at the top at Tree Supports, and everyone else on this list. Some of you are in chat today. Thanks so much. Without your support, we can't do these sorts of things. And sorry about the dogs in the background. Someone's coming home, I think. And I can't mute because then you'll just hear nothing. But again, thanks everyone on that list. If you want to join us, you can go to patreon.com/3dmakeit. We also, if you're a member of our Patreon, you get access to Discord and you can have chats directly with us. You can post ideas for the shows and all that kind of stuff. We have great conversations in there all the time. Dominic's always in there and Stig's in there often, and a lot of other people are in there. Originally, David didn't think he was heading out, so we weren't expecting the topic change today, but we will be getting into Clipper. So we did this series just before summer on Marlin. We went through all the different steps that you need to go through to compile Marlin. What is Marlin? How does it work? That sort of thing. Hopefully you caught some of those. If not, feel free to go back and have a look at those videos. We answered some of your questions as they came up. So we're going to do the similar series now, but we're going to go into Clipper. So we'll start with the basics of Clipper. And then as things kind of evolve, we will go into mainsail, how to use it on it and whatnot, and then probably some fluid so that you can see the differences but similarities between the two different flavors of interface to operate Clipper. I mean, you can still run Clipper just fine if you like editing text files, but they've done some really great work on the GUIs and whatnot, and we'll talk about all the different elements. So that'll be coming up on the next few series. Next weekend I won't be here, but David most likely will. I have other commitment, so but we will be getting, it's probably going to be, I guess, beginning of November that we will start our Clipper series. Also, I have got a green light on sponsors for our Christmas giveaway, so contest. So we will have that up right away and get you guys to make. I think last year we called it the tchotchke. So we'll have some guidelines, and I'll put that up right away so you guys have enough time and then we can draw just before Christmas, and then you can have a prize to order whatever you want before Christmas. So that's coming up. Oh, 6 degrees in Saskatoon. Nice. Nice to see you on. Nice to have another local person online. What kind of Texatech? What kind of printers are you running? I know Dominic has an Ender 5. Gary, I can't remember what you run for a printer. So let's just see who's running what lately, because it's interesting to see if things have changed and whatnot. So, Gary, what are you running? Texatech, what are you running? And I know I've got a little V0 there. I've got right behind me here. That's the CR10 V2, highly modified. I've got the cubic Chiron there, and yes, I say Chiron because that's how you say it. It's like the car. Then I've got an Ender 3 highly modified right beside me here, and my daughter has an Ender 3 over there. And then right back there, that's a MakerBot that I'm turning into a Marlin bot. So a heavily modified Robo 3D R1 that has been clippered. I'm getting parts, but custom build. Oh, nice, a Voron Trident. Nice. Yeah, we've got a few people around here that had Robo 3Ds in the beginning and whatnot. I think you'll be very happy with the Voron Trident for sure. Absolutely. And Raymond, as usual, has too many to account, and that's true. He's one of the few people I know that has a bamboo printer, and I'm kind of jealous. I would like to have one to play with. So Raymond, actually, I'll get some feedback from everyone. Raymond has requested, possibly because he's really busy at this time slot at 11 o'clock. And I haven't talked to David yet, but he's wondering if we would move back to our 10 o'clock spot. So if that's something that works better for people, let us know, because we definitely want to try to have the live chat is great because we can really interact with you guys. So if there's a better time on a Sunday that works better, and that's we can get more people in, that's great. So we are on Mountain Time, so it'll be changing to Mountain Daylight Savings Time soon, but I think it's second week in November or whatever. So that's when the time change happens for us. I know you're in Saskatoon, so you guys don't change time, but yeah, we'll shift around a bit in difference. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do, and maybe we'll change up the times, maybe we won't. We'll have a discussion next week with David and kind of go from there. All right, so for news, a couple things. Prusa, there's my show notes. If I can find my show notes. So I've got too many windows open. All right, so Prusa announced that they're on alpha. So they are on alpha. I'm just going to switch to my sharing. 2.7. So they just came out recently with 2.6. What was it? Just bear with me here. Oh, come on. There we are. Yeah, 2.6.1 was the last one they came out with, but this new one has a cool tool coming out. And this is, a lot of people have wanted this. You can do some of the wrapping like this in Fusion 360, and and definitely this is neat. Like, you can take SVG file, and then you can have it wrapped to a model. Now, a lot of the CAD programs and whatnot have difficulty doing this kind of thing. Fusion is one of the better ones, but it's difficult just to pull an STL into Fusion. Then you got to convert it through a BREP process and whatnot. So to be able to quickly, throw your logo or something on a model, probably that you've made, because we don't want to break copyright, this looks like a pretty cool tool. I mean, there's always been embossing, but I mean, to have it actually wrap around the model, that's pretty cool. I really like that a lot. So they've added some more G code and whatnot. So that's kind of interesting. So that'll be coming. Again, it's alpha, so don't rush out and play with it. I'd wait until at least it gets into the beta, because then you can run it in parallel with whatever slicer. Like, if you're already running Prusa Slicer, you can run it in parallel. So, which is always nice. So just keep in mind that definitely it's something kind of cool. The other thing I noted, which I thought was interesting, is this article. I don't know if it's true, but they're claiming the new Kira 5.5 can make Ultimakers print 50% faster. Well, I mean, definitely, like, with the new optimizations in Kira, there has been improvements. There's been lots of sharing of technology between Prusa and Kira lately. Like, for example, the tree supports was rewritten. It's called organic supports in Prusa, but tree supports still in Kira, and they're slowly sharing and the modules and whatnot. But they're saying they redid the engine. I mean, it's been a while since we've had an engine redo for Kira. What was the last one called? I'm blanking on the name of the last update for the engine in Kira, but it did make a significant difference. So they're claiming 50% on Ultimaker printers, so I don't know if that will translate to everyone else that uses Kira, but thought that was kind of interesting that they're claiming they've fixed some flow rate stuff and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting to see what they do now. There are some features that are only on the curated pro version of Kira that are used by Ultimaker, but most of it eventually trickles down to the free version. So we'll see how this does. But yeah, so that was the other thing. Kira, let's go back to my Feedly. So Kira released 5.4 just recently, but the beta is now out. So if you want to try the beta, you can definitely try it. But you may want to wait until it goes to release candidate before you start playing with that. It's, use it at your own risk for sure. So it'll be interesting. They've all been kind of, increasing their cadence, which is really nice. And then Bamboo Studio, of course, they released a new version a couple days ago as well. So if you are a Bamboo user, you've got a new version as well. Not much action on Clipper and Mainsail, but we'll keep an eye on that and let you guys know. what's up there. I did, and I don't know how long they started the pivot, but we had a mosaic. I'm going to switch back to my main screen here so you can see me. So we got in palette. I think ours was the Palette 2 Pro. It was pretty interesting technology. They would have a 4 lines in or more, depending on which model you've got. And it would splice the filament together. You just like go through slice and fuse it, and then you would be pulling a different color, and so you would kind of time your printing based on the length of the feed and whatnot. And they had their palette software and whatnot to paint your models, and you could do multicolor printing. Now, if you look at the way bamboo has gone and another number of other, Prusa or the enraged carrot, they do it slightly differently. They feed the whole filament in and purge it, whereas palette just would slice it and then have a purge tower where it was migrating the color out. So a little different technology. Well, they've pivoted. So they've gone from a consumer facing type product to a highly premium product. And so I thought this was kind of interesting. Let me just find it here. I wasn't expecting them to pivot like this, but they have it's called the Array, and I'll just bring up my screen share. So the Array is way different than their original concept with their slicing and filament and fusing it together and sliding it through and printing models. They've gone to a fully print farm. It's got, the palette management software. It uses their Canvas as their painting software to paint your models. This thing is huge. Like, this is like probably 7 or 8 feet tall. It's got 4 of their high-end machines inside it, and it actually has a little robot that will clear your build plate. Like, to go from, and this originally was a Canadian company, and hopefully it still is, to go from the consumer market into this large printing market is quite interesting. To see that they went to light industrial manufacturing. But like, this thing's just massive. And we normally talk about retail stuff here because we are the hobbyists and whatnot, but they still have their, whoops, I clicked the wrong one. They still have their Palette 3 Pro. This one was a little more advanced than the old palette. It could take in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Was it 8 colors? Yeah, 8 materials. So it took in 8 materials and did there's their slicing module and whatnot. So it's still based on their technology that they'd been working on, and you can still buy it and everything. It's pretty cool, but they've taken their element, which I also wasn't aware of, and this is also another. This is like their kind of high-end printer and everything. It looks really interesting, but not cheap. These things are something like Oh man, let's see if the store tells us. There were a couple $1,000. Do, do, do. Let's see if it tells us how much this thing is. Nope, speak to sales. So they won't even tell you. Um, but I think they're close. These are close to $3,000 or $4,000 a piece, and then that large one, I can't imagine how much it costs. But pretty interesting, I thought. Yeah. And Dominic was saying that the Magneto X was something we had talked about. The Magneto X. It was a new product that came out from, was it Poly? Oh, Oh, what is the name? I gotta find the name. Not Polymaker. Poly. Oh, I will find it here. It was from Poly. Yeah, people Bali. I can't even say it. So the Magneto X is quite cool. They have they basically took your stepper motor, splayed it out so that it's flat all the way along your main rail on your Core XY. And so the print head itself, by spreading out the weight, they've actually reduced the weight quite a bit. And there's a series of magnets. Neo 3D had a really good interview with the creator. If you want to check that out, they were at one of the Rep Rap festivals, and they were showing it off. They kind of demoed it. They're already sold out, actually. So their first production run that they're doing, completely sold out. So you can't even buy one anymore. But they look really cool. Supposed to be really fast, and because they basically took the weight of the stepper motor and spread it out over the gantry, you reduced some of the mass, but also the amount of electronics and everything you need on the printhead itself is so much smaller. And it basically the magnets are embedded in the rail, so that and then there's a linear rail that runs along it that holds the printhead down so that it doesn't get pushed away by the magnets, so that it's not like maglev quite, but it then uses that the technology to move the head, and it moves it quite fast. The accelerations are pretty interesting, so that looks really cool. So Dominic did say that they put a Discord link to the video in. So let me just have a look here. Yeah, so there is a link. I don't know if it'll allow me to paste it in here. Let's see if it allows me to. If you're interested, there's a link to the video. It's worth a watch if you haven't seen it, just to see how the printer works. Maybe this is the future. Like this, hopefully they've patented it, or they found an unlicensed technology that they could use. But it's a novel idea, and they still use for the bed. They still have stepper motors moving it down, because I mean, if all you're doing is moving your bed down, stepper motor is fine. But if you want to move at high speed, the more innovative ways that we can move at high speed without increasing the mass that we're moving, the better, right? Because it's when we have the large mass in the print head and the movement that it's really going to cause the ringing and the needing for more of the compensation whatnot. And I mean, we can do what we can to mitigate all that, but who doesn't want some faster printing, really? Right? We all do. I mean, if you're building a Trident, for example, you definitely want faster printing and better quality and whatnot. So I'm all for that, for sure. So that was the Magneto Poly. And so I'll just throw up my screen share here. So this is what it's a massive printer too. But these are the company people here. We've got, yeah, the linear motion driven 3D printer is what they call it. Yeah, so it's $2,000, price cut to $13.99 for pre-order. So it's not going to be a cheap printer, but I think you're getting your nice rigid frame and whatnot. So it's really, we had a lull in innovation for a while. Don't know if it was the couple of years of vid or whatnot, but even just before that, it was, everyone was just basically reproducing the Ender. I think it's really started with the Voron team and or the Rat Rig and whatnot, when they really started to figure out that you can build a Core XY for a lot more cost effective than you could in the past. And there was a lot more interest now that, 3D printing, I know tons of people that aren't super nerdy, but they bought themselves a 3D printer, so that's great. But there was a lull there for a while. Then, Voron and, like I said, Rat Rig and there's numerous others out there started to really come out. And now they're all kind of building off of the benefits, whether it's Bamboo or whoever, of having a lightweight, fast kernel with or firmware like Clipper, for example. The power of a decent CPU in the Pi or other processors out there, and really taking advantage of it to accelerate printing and development. So I really like to see this innovation. I like that we're moving ahead with more stuff. It's unfortunate that some of the companies have made proprietary pieces, but so far I'm very pleased that the accessibility to parts and upgradability and whatnot of these printers like Bamboo, for example, have made it easy enough for you to upgrade and repair your printer, whereas in the past it was a lot more difficult on some of them and whatnot. But they really have gone a lot further. I know, Ray, have you had many issues with your Bamboo, or maybe even ones at your work, or has it been pretty solid printer? Have you had any jams or had to change print heads and whatnot? It looks fairly straightforward to do on those, but it's good to see the innovation there, whether it's the Core XY. This we were doing linear rails and light carbon rods, and they're doing lots of things to try to reduce the weight of the gantry, and now away we go. It's good. Ray says it's been solid, just jams with the AMS. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, because you also built yourself the Enraged Rabbit, didn't you, Ray? I think you did. So is it less jamming than the Rabbit or about the same? I think whenever you have to swap a filament completely out of the hot end and then back in, um, I think it depends on a lot of factors, but probably the brands of filament may jam less. Installed it on the Voron. No. So does that mean you didn't install the Enraged Rabbit on the Voron, or you didn't get jams on the Voron with it? So yeah, so it's really good to see that there are some innovations out there. Are there any innovations that you think need to come? Like I'm seeing more and more printers, whether it's the K1, the bamboo, and whatnot, with heated chambers. So yeah, Ray's saying filament is the issue, and a lot of times it's moisture in our filament. So that's why, I mean, we're fairly fortunate in southern Alberta. We're a semi-arid desert-ish type of climate, so we are quite dry in the winter, and Texatech, you'll know this. In the winter, it gets very dry here in Canada. So, depending on the brand of filament and depending on, I guess, how you store your filament, you can pick up a lot of moisture, and that is what Ray's saying, that the AMS does not like wet filament. So, yeah, for sure. I know. I put mine in the bags that they come with some desiccant, seal them up. That's mainly how I do it. David has a dry box that he uses, and with some PTFE tubes coming out of it. So there's a number of different things. What's Ray saying? With network of PTFE tubes, there's bound to be breaking a filament, and that's true. When you've got a long path that you have to pull it back through and whatnot, and depending on how successful the pull was, or how hot the temperature is, and how, like he was saying, how much moisture is in the actual filament, you can get the little blob on the end. And when you're pulling it back through, you've got some junctions, you've got Ys, you've got a number of things that could potentially cause jamming, or a little break of filament breaking off. And if it breaks off and then tries to feed the next one through, because if you thought it pulled it all the way back, you're going to have a big crash. Oh, that's a good idea. Hope Depot. I never thought so. Like a 5-gallon type pail, or is it just because I've got some from Canadian Tire, some bins with basket. Let's grab one here. So I got these little guys from Canadian Tire. They've got a seal on the top. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. And they have a seal around it. I still put them in their bags and put the desiccant in, but typically that's how I store my filament, and in the bags. So with the screw lid from Lee Valley, oh, nice. So you just clip on a screw lid adapter to the 5-gallon bucket. That is, I'm going to have to take a look at that. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Now a guy just needs to put some bearings in there and a rod so that they sit nicely. And then you could actually put a PTFE tube coming out, so you could pull them out of the round bucket and have them still spool. Oh, now you got me thinking on a project. That's cool. I like that a lot. My wife's a professional painter. She paints houses and whatnot. So we have quite a few 5-gallon buckets just kicking around. All right. Well, I'm gonna take that tip and gonna have a look at that. Sorry, not sorry. So if just we're kind of halfway through the show and whatnot. Just a reminder, if you haven't already done so, if you want to hit a thumbs up, or if you are so inclined, the algorithm gods always like that sort of thing, and it helps us out, gets us a few more views and whatnot. And so if you're enjoying what you're seeing, normally it's not just me. Normally David's here and we actually have a little bit more back and forth, but it's really nice to chat with everyone here in the chat, and have new people here as well. So feel free to hit that like, and if you want to be notified of stuff coming up, and especially with the Clipper series that we're going to start doing and whatnot. So you may want to subscribe, and you don't have to, but we would sure appreciate it if you did, and whatnot. And yeah, so just a heads up, we don't always promote ourselves this way, but you know, I always forget to, and so I just thought of it now, so I thought I should. What else was on my list of things to talk about? I had a few others. No, I don't think I have too much more for the news stuff. So Ray, are you guys printing a whole bunch of stuff, or is your wife getting ready for her Christmas craft shows and stuff? Ray's wife does some really cool stuff with the bamboo and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just wondering if she's starting to really ramp up her production. I'm sure she's probably been printing stuff like crazy lately. Yeah, it's tough when your computer gets angry and drops you off. Who's been actually designing anything lately? I've haven't had much of a chance. I've been busy with kids stuff and whatnot, so haven't really had a chance to sit down and do some actual design work with my Fusion 360 and whatnot. Who's been designing stuff? Texatech. Do you do any Fusion or anything with your with designing stuff, or are you just a big printer? So Ray says that they've been printing stuff like crazy for the last month. I bet. They normally have a wide variety of things for the table. FreeCAD. I haven't played with FreeCAD, to be honest. I've been playing with Fusion so much. I hear FreeCAD's really nice. I think I loaded it once and kind of was poking around, but I'm you know how you get muscle memory when you're using programs? I'm sure you got this with FreeCAD, where you just know where to click and what to do and how to work it. That switching environments is like pulling teeth at times, because you're like, I just want to do this, and you don't know the process to do it in the new software. So still learning. It used to be Fusion, but I use Linux now. So gotcha. Well, I use Linux a bit, but mostly Windows, and most of my Linux work is on phone systems and Raspberry Pi. So that's kind of my Linux environment. Yeah, it's good to stretch yourself though, because learning, you know, plugging away at a new environment, whatnot, there are different, you kind of like learn a different thought process a lot of times. And it can really, you know, there are, there are probably 5 ways, like in Windows, there's always 5 ways to do something, right? And so there's no one CAD program to rule them all. They all do things exceptionally well in their own right. Um, but I don't think there's, I wouldn't say that there's one that does everything the best. Dominic says, my artistic talents are basic at best. But you don't necessarily need an artistic talent. It depends what you're doing. If you're doing artistic type stuff, you may not be using a CAD program, right? I mean, there is some stuff to make your stuff aesthetically pleasing and whatnot. But if you are actually doing, you want to do artistic stuff, you know, a mesh mixer or one of the other actual modeling programs that you can actually create a sculpture and whatnot, or a 3D structure out of a model that you can, you know, make sprites almost for programs and whatnot, and then you can still print them out. Yeah, Blender, that's the other one I was thinking of too. Like you can do quite artistic things in those, and that goes beyond my skill. I can do, I'm somewhat artistic. I would say I can do some things and whatnot, but I have a very technical mind, and it's kind of spatial orientated and whatnot. So Fusion, I really enjoy. You know, any type of CAD program where you're designing and you have to kind of wrap your head around the spatial relation between the wall thickness and how to embed a bolt and whatnot. So that stuff I really enjoy. Yeah, I know I think I've used Blender, and I think I've used a few others to repair meshes that were broken, whatnot. Um, if you're on Windows, you can use like 3D Builder, and it'll actually repair. If you have a, for example, Benchy, it actually has a gap in its bow. Um, the whole layer's missing. So most slicers compensate for that, but it will, if you put it into, like, for example, 3D Builder and whatnot, you can actually, it will repair that piece and whatnot. And it's a free program. Whatnot. I don't think they support it much anymore, but it is a good way to quickly fix a model. I think we have a few tips and tricks on our site. NetFab, that's built into Prusa. That's another one. You can see how many polygons are inverted and whatnot, and quickly fix it. So I've used those tools, but yeah, Blender and Mesh Mixer and what's the Autodesk one? Is it Maya? Anyone? I'm blanking on the name of the mesh program in from Autodesk. They have a fairly robust one that's been around for years that they were always teaching at colleges and whatnot, but I'm blanking on the name. But yeah, it's cool to play with all the different software out there and whatnot. We probably need to do another, that might be another one of our after we do Clipper, is look at different, maybe we'll do a thing of a challenge of learning a new CAD program or something, and see who picks it up the best. I know David's, being that he's a programmer and he has a programming background. Is it FreeCAD, or there was another one that was very programmatic in how you could tweak your models and whatnot. I can't remember which one it was. You can do some of that. They brought some of that into Fusion where you can define left side, top right, and whatnot, and you define those variables, and then you, instead of putting a length, you say top, and then it pulls that from your, was it parametric design? Is that what it was? I'm blanking. No caffeine this morning. I only have water, so. But yeah, we OpenSCAD. That's it. That's right. That's another one over above FreeCAD that you may want to look at. That one's pretty cool. I guess depends on your mindset too, because some of it, if you're not a programmer, it might be a little overwhelming for you. So, but I know a couple people really enjoyed that one. Yeah, I heard you can import directly now, which is neat. And why didn't they do that all along? Because it is an AutoCAD company. Tinkercad is from AutoCAD. It's from Autodesk, sorry. So why couldn't you do that the whole time? You should be able to. Yeah. Any other topics you guys want to talk about? I'm willing to talk about all this kind of stuff. But yeah, love CAD programs. Love playing with them. I love designing little nicky-nacky type things to. This is a mount that I designed to adapt the rubber standoffs for the Kona EV. So under the front, if you pop the hood, there's a lot of space under there. There's a nice plastic cover that can come off. So I made a system that I can mount some aluminum rods, and I have a Pelican case in the front now. So I have a frunk. So I love doing that kind of stuff. Making battery cases, designing up. These are 2170 holders. So you can then put a whole bunch in here and weld in a spot, and then you can have a battery bank and whatnot. So lots of great things to do with all the different things. So I'll just show you. I'll throw another battery in here so you can get an idea. So there you go. And I left enough of a ridge that you can weld onto them. So yeah, kind of neat. Love doing this kind of stuff. What else? I don't know if I have too much else today. We might call it early today. I will talk to David Ray about whether we're going to do time switch or not. Don't know if we want to, because that would mean David would have to get up early on a Sunday, earlier than normal. So we'll see. But if the morning time slot still works for you guys, we'll keep it in the morning. If you guys want it in another time, we will definitely do another time. But again, I want to thank a few more people here. Again, Helge at the top at Tree Support. And again, if you would like to sign up, and you don't have to, but it's patreon.com/3dmakeit. If you sign up, you get to join us on our Patreon live streams, which we've got to do one coming up right away here. And you get to join us live, and we get to see you face to face and chat and whatnot. So it's always good to have everyone on board for that. And you also get, like I said, access to our Discord, where we have a variety of topics that we talk about and whatnot. So please feel free to check that out if that's something you're interested in. But you can always find all our information at 3dmakeit.ca. That is our website. I can't remember if you need the www or not, but feel free to go to 3dmakeit.ca. You'll see details on our contest coming up. We have 2 prizes, and they are sponsored again this year by Spool 3D. There'll be 2 $50 gift certificates to Spool, and you can order whatever you need to from them. They have great filament and a ton of other little bit of everything there from 3D printers and on, and hopefully they'll have announcements soon on a new printer they will be stocking and carrying, but I'm not going to say what it is. I think Ray knows all about it, and I just don't know if it's public yet. So excited for that. Yeah. So anyway, I think we're going to call it for today. Okay. Dominic says he's on Central Time. So, and I believe Tex Attack is also on Central Time. So it probably doesn't matter to him as well. So I was just about to publish it. Well, I won't until it's published. I'm not going to say what it is. But looking forward to that. It's always good when a local company gets to support other products out there that are pretty popular in the industry. So that's as much as I'm saying on that. So I'm going to sign off for today. Thanks, everyone. David will be back next week. He'll probably be on his own because I am heading off to Edmonton. I've got some stuff to do up there. So I will be back the following week, and that's probably when we'll do our live stream. So, all right. Well, we are just signing off. So we will talk to you later. Bye.